We're looking at Proverbs chapter 6 today, and trust me, this is way more than just some ancient poetry. Think of it as a tactical survival guide. It's a blueprint for spotting the exact same traps that still get us today: financial ruin, procrastination, you name it. So get this. What if I told you that this one chapter has a literal list of 7 things that God absolutely hates? And, as if that's not enough, it also holds the secret to getting out from under crushing debt. Oh, and it's got a productivity mindset that makes modern hustle culture look like a total joke. Yeah, that's what we're about to unpack. First things first, Solomon dives straight into one of the biggest snares in modern life: money. He kicks things off with a super urgent warning about getting financially tangled up with other people. He starts with this kind of old school phrase, "If thou be surety for thy friend." So what on earth does that even mean? Well, the text talks about striking hands with a stranger, which was basically their version of shaking on a deal, of sealing a contract. In our world, we call it co-signing. You know, when you put your name on the line for someone else's car loan or their mortgage, legally binding yourself to their debt if they can't pay. Now look, Solomon isn't saying don't be a generous person. He's warning us not to get trapped by giving someone else the keys to our own financial future. And what if you're already in that situation? Well, Solomon's advice is intense. He says you need to free yourself as a gazelle from the hand of the hunter. Think about that. A gazelle doesn't just casually walk away from a lion. It sprints for its life. The message here is all about urgency. If you're in a bad financial deal, don't wait. Don't even sleep. Do absolutely everything you can to get free. Okay, so from the trap of debt, the chapter totally shifts gears. Now we're talking about the trap of laziness, or what the Bible calls being a sluggard. And the solution isn't some complicated life hack. It's a tiny little creature, the ant. Solomon tells the lazy person to go to the ant, consider her ways, and be wise. But the lesson he pulls from this little insect isn't just about, work hard. It's actually way, way deeper than that. Here's the key right there in verse 7. The ant has no guide, no overseer, no ruler. It doesn't have a manager looking over its shoulder telling it what to do. The ant has an internal drive. It's self-motivated. It governs itself. That is the heart of wisdom when it comes to work. You do what needs to be done because it's the right thing to do, not because you're afraid of getting in trouble. And you can see the two mindsets here, right? They're total opposites. The sluggard is always waiting for a push from the outside. The ant, on the other hand, creates its own momentum from the inside. And the results? Well, they couldn't be more different. One path leads straight to poverty, the other leads to provision. And if you don't build that internal drive, the consequence is pretty terrifying. Poverty doesn't just show up. It comes as an armed man. It's like a bandit that sneaks up on you while you're hitting the snooze button for the 10th time and just robs you blind. Robs you of your potential, your future, everything. So, we've talked about what we do, our finances, our work ethic, but now Solomon takes us inward to the very heart of who we are. He gives us this list that's basically like a mirror test for your soul. And he doesn't pull any punches with this introduction. This isn't a list of things God finds kind of annoying. These are 6, actually 7, things that God actively hates, things that are an abomination to him. So let's walk through them. First up, a proud look. No surprise, pride is always at the top of these kinds of lists. Then a lying tongue. Hands that shed innocent blood, pretty serious stuff. A heart that is always scheming, cooking up wicked plans. Feet that can't wait to run toward trouble. And a false witness, someone who lies under oath. I mean, these are major destructive character flaws. But then, there's the climax. You hear that buildup in the text, right? 6 things. Yeah, 7. He's making us wait for it. He's building the suspense for this final item, the one that crowns the entire list. So what is it? And there it is, the person who sows discord among brethren. Basically the person who stirs up drama and creates division. Think about that. God puts causing conflict in a community on the exact same level of abomination as murder. And why? Because while murder kills a person, sowing discord kills a community. It absolutely destroys families, friendships, and entire churches from the inside out. All right, for the final warning in this chapter, we circle back to the danger of adultery. But this time, the focus isn't just on temptation. It's about the unbreakable, ironclad law of consequences. Solomon asks this amazing rhetorical question. Can a man hold fire against his chest and not have his clothes get burned? I mean, the answer is obvious, right? Of course not. It's just a law of nature. And he uses this to make a powerful point about cause and effect in our lives. So often, we think we can kind of play with fire and get away with it. A little secret here, a hidden glance there. Solomon says that's like clutching a red-hot coal to your chest and just hoping your shirt doesn't catch fire. It's not a question of if you'll get burned, it's a guarantee. And that burn, it's not just a little scorch mark. The Bible says the one who does this destroyeth his own soul. See, it's not just about breaking a rule. It's about self-destruction. It leaves a wound and a dishonor that, according to this, simply will not be wiped away. The consequences are deep and they are lasting. So, after all that, what are we supposed to do? Proverbs 6 isn't just here to give us information. It's designed to change how we live. It's a practical guide for surviving and thriving. So here it is, your survival kit, straight from this chapter. You've got the Gazelle Mentality, sprint away from financial traps. You've got the ant mentality, build that internal, self-governed work ethic. You have the mirror test, check yourself against that list of character flaws. And finally, the hot coal principle. Just understand that some choices will always burn you. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Forget about what anyone else thinks or sees. Inspired by the ant, what is just one thing you can do today, whether it's at work, for your health, whatever, driven purely by self-discipline, with absolutely no one watching you? That small act of internal motivation, that right there is where wisdom really begins.